A 15-year-old boy once leaped into a pool filled with bright, clear blue water in Texas. It looked like a perfect place, peaceful, beautiful, and completely inviting, the kind of spot anyone would trust without hesitation. But after he jumped in, something went terribly wrong. He never surfaced again. In another chilling case in California, 3 members of a ski patrol team were walking calmly along the edge of a quiet mountain lake. They did not enter the water. They did not even touch it. Yet somehow, all 3 of them lost their lives under mysterious circumstances. Across the ocean in England, there exists a narrow stream so small that a person could easily step over it. It looks harmless, almost like a scene from a story meant for children. But appearances can be dangerously misleading. Every single individual who has ever fallen into that stream has died. Not one has survived. Water covers nearly 70% of our world. We swim in it, travel across it, and build our lives beside it. We rely on it every single day and often believe it is safe. But not all water deserves our confidence. In this video, we begin a count upward of the 10 most dangerous bodies of water on Earth, places so deadly that even trained experts hesitate to enter them. Before we begin, leave a comment sharing where you are watching from and the current time. Let us discover how far this story travels across the world. Lake Kivu is often described as breathtaking, and that is usually the very first impression people share. Standing about 90 kilometers in length and nearly 50 kilometers across. It rests within the vast Great Rift Valley, forming a natural border between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It stands as one of the largest and most significant lakes on the African continent. Along the Rwandan shoreline, resorts welcome visitors seeking peace and beauty. At sunrise, fishermen head out in traditional wooden boats, casting their nets into the calm water. Children play and swim along the shallow edges, while towns and cities expand right up to the lake's boundary on both sides. Nearly 2 million people live within the surrounding basin, building their lives around what appears to be a calm and life-sustaining environment. Yet beneath this peaceful surface lies something far more dangerous. Deep within the lake are vast amounts of dissolved gases, including around 300 cubic kilometers of carbon dioxide and about 60 cubic kilometers of methane. These numbers are almost impossible to imagine. The volume of gas trapped below could form a massive cloud as large as an entire city, hidden silently beneath the water, where millions of people live nearby. These gases remain contained because of the immense pressure created by the layers of water above them. The deeper sections of the lake are held under intense hydrostatic pressure, which keeps the gases dissolved and stable. As long as the water layers remain undisturbed, everything stays contained. The danger arises if that balance is ever disrupted. This concern is not just a theory. A similar and tragic event has already taken place elsewhere. On August 21st, 1986, Lake Nyos in Cameroon experienced what is known as a limnic eruption. A massive release of carbon dioxide suddenly burst from the lake, forming a deadly cloud. Because the gas is heavier than air, it flowed rapidly down nearby valleys at speeds of about 70 kilometers per hour. In total, 1,746 people died, most of them in their sleep. Entire villages were wiped out within minutes, and animals within a 25-kilometer range collapsed instantly. Lake Nyos, however, is very small when compared to Lake Kivu. The amount of gas contained in Kivu is estimated to be around 2,000 times greater. According to studies conducted by Klaus Tietze from the German Federal Institute for Geosciences and Natural Resources, who first measured these gas levels in the 1970s, A similar eruption at Lake Kivu would result in devastation on a scale the modern world has never witnessed. A sudden release could affect every settlement surrounding the lake at once, leaving almost no time for warning or escape. In response to this threat, the government of Rwanda has worked alongside international engineers to install systems that extract methane from the lake. This captured gas is then used to produce electricity, helping to lower the concentration of dangerous gases while also providing much-needed energy. It is an innovative and potentially life-saving solution. However, the process moves slowly while new gas continues to build up from volcanic activity beneath the lake. This leads to a troubling and unanswered question that continues to concern scientists. Is the extraction process happening fast enough to prevent disaster? With 2 million lives at stake and an enormous volume of gas still trapped below, the risk remains ever present. From the shoreline, Lake Kivu appears calm and inviting, almost like a perfect paradise. Yet hidden beneath its surface is the potential for unimaginable destruction. It is a place where beauty and danger exist side by side, creating a threat so vast that it is difficult to fully comprehend. And while this lake hides its danger deep below, the next location conceals its own deadly secret far beneath the surface, lying in darkness at a depth of 85 meters, where something even more unsettling awaits. About 20 kilometers away from the coastline near Dahab in eastern Thailand, the ocean floor suddenly drops into a deep vertical shaft. This formation, known as Samesan Hole, plunges down to a depth of 85 meters in a region where the surrounding sea is usually no deeper than 20 meters. It is recognized as the deepest known location within the Gulf of Thailand. On nautical maps, the site appears as a small, dark blue circle set within lighter turquoise waters that indicate the shallow coastal seabed. From above the surface, there is nothing that seems unusual or threatening. The water feels warm, and the currents appear calm and manageable. Dive boats frequently anchor in this area, with many divers unaware of the extreme conditions waiting below. Once a diver descends beyond 30 meters, the environment changes dramatically. Sunlight fades quickly, and darkness begins to take over. The temperature drops noticeably, and visibility becomes extremely limited, often shrinking to less than a single meter. The gentle currents felt at the surface transform into unstable and forceful movements at greater depths. Thermoclines form invisible layers of cold water that disrupt a diver's sense of balance and buoyancy. Those who have passed through these layers often describe a disturbing sensation, as if something unseen is pulling them downward. It creates a feeling of being dragged into the depths without warning or control. The danger of Samesan Hole is not limited to its natural conditions. There is an additional risk caused by human activity. For many years, the Royal Thai Navy used this location as a disposal site for military munitions, explosives, shells, and various forms of military equipment were discarded into the depths of the hole. Reports from diving groups and coverage by Bangkok Post indicate that the bottom is scattered with rusting remnants of this equipment. Some of these items may still remain dangerous. There have been multiple diver fatalities associated with this location. The exact number is uncertain, as not every incident has been officially recorded. However, there is a clear and troubling pattern. Skilled divers with proper training and equipment have entered the hole and failed to return. In some cases, their bodies have been recovered, while in others, they have been lost entirely. Even the Royal Thai Navy has not completed a full survey of the site. The extreme depth, the near total darkness, and the unknown condition of the discarded munitions make such an operation highly risky. The combination of these factors creates an environment that is considered too dangerous, even for experienced military teams. 85 meters of darkness, almost zero visibility, shifting currents, and unexploded military materials resting at the bottom create a place filled with uncertainty. It is a location that remains largely unexplored, not because of a lack of interest, but because of the serious risks involved. Despite all of this, the site continues to attract divers. There is something about the mystery and danger that draws people in, even when the risks are well known. Samesan Hole stands as a powerful reminder that beneath calm waters, there can exist hidden threats that are far more dangerous than they first appear. Among all the dangerous waters across the world, there is one place that stands apart as the most deceptive and deadly of them all. It is not a boiling volcanic lake, not a toxic river, not a hidden military dumping ground, and not a violent stretch of ocean. Instead, it is something far more ordinary at first glance. A narrow stream in the peaceful countryside of Yorkshire that looks so harmless, you might think you could step right over it. This place is known as the Bolton Strid, located within the beautiful Yorkshire Dales, close to the historic remains of Bolton Abbey in northern England. Upstream, the River Wharfe flows gently through open green fields, wide and calm as it winds through the landscape. But as it approaches this particular point, everything changes in an instant. The wide river, which measures around 9 meters across, is suddenly forced into a narrow channel, barely 2 meters wide. From the edge, it looks like nothing more than a small stream or a quiet brook. Trees arch over the water, moss covers the rocks, and the entire setting feels calm, almost like a scene from a storybook. It appears peaceful, inviting, and completely safe. Yet behind this calm appearance lies a terrifying truth. Every single person who has ever fallen into the Bolton Strid has died. Not most people, not nearly all, but everyone. There are no known survivors in recorded history. The reason for this deadly reputation is hidden beneath the surface. What looks like a small and shallow stream is actually the full force of the River Wharfe compressed into a narrow space. The river does not simply become narrower, it plunges downward. Instead of spreading across a wide surface, the same volume of water is forced into a deep vertical channel. Beneath the surface, the Strid forms a submerged canyon with depths that remain largely unknown because the conditions are far too dangerous for divers to explore. According to studies referenced by the Yorkshire Dales National Park Authority, the underwater structure includes a complex system of caves, tunnels, and ledges carved into limestone over thousands of years. The water moving through these hidden passages is incredibly powerful. Currents shift unpredictably at different depths, creating strong forces that can trap anything caught within them. A person who falls into the Strid is quickly pulled under, forced into these narrow channels, and held there by the pressure of the water. Victims do not reappear downstream, nor are they easily found along the banks. Some bodies have taken days to recover, while others have never been discovered at all. It is believed that the underwater cave system may still hold, remains trapped deep within its inaccessible passages. Despite its danger, there are no large barriers or protective fences surrounding the Strid. Visitors walking along nearby paths may only notice a small sign offering a gentle warning. The message does not fully explain the severity of the risk. It simply mentions that the stones can be slippery. Those stones, covered in smooth wet moss, are exactly the kind of surface where a single misstep can lead to disaster. The narrow gap between the banks often tempts visitors to jump across. Some have attempted it, believing it to be an easy leap. Not all have succeeded. historical records from the local Bolton estate trace one of the earliest known tragedies back to the year 1154. A young boy named William de Romilly, the son of a noble family connected to the founding of Bolton Abbey, tried to leap across the water. He failed to make the jump and fell in. His body was never recovered. For nearly 9 centuries, the Strid has remained unchanged, and so has its deadly outcome. Local legends say that the water never returns what it takes. From a geological perspective, that may be true, as the cave system beneath could still contain those who were lost long ago. The Bolton Strid does not roar like a waterfall or spin like a whirlpool. It does not appear violent or threatening. It is simply a quiet stretch of water in a beautiful landscape. The rocks seem inviting, the moss looks soft, and the trees lean gently over the stream, creating a peaceful scene. And yet, every person who has entered that water has disappeared. There have been no exceptions, no rescues, and no second chances. The next place on this journey tells a different kind of story, one where people were given no warning at all, and an entire village was lost in a single night, while its residents slept. On the evening of August 21, 1986, life around Lake Nyos in northwestern Cameroon felt completely normal. Families ended their day as they always had. Farmers returned home after working in the fields. Children finished their meals and settled in for the night. Livestock rested quietly. The lake itself appeared still and peaceful, just as it had always seemed to those who lived nearby. By the time morning arrived, everything had changed. A total of 1,746 people had lost their lives. Within a radius of 25 kilometers, almost every living creature had been killed. Cattle, goats, birds, insects, nothing survived. There had been no explosion, no earthquake, and no warning of any kind. No one reported hearing anything unusual. Those who died did not wake up. There were no cries, no attempts to escape. Breathing simply stopped. The cause of this silent disaster was something known as a limnic eruption. Lake Nyos sits within a volcanic crater, and deep beneath it, magma releases carbon dioxide over time. For years, this gas slowly seeped into the lake's deeper layers, dissolving into the water under immense pressure. It built up quietly, hidden far below the surface. On that night in August, something disrupted the balance of the lake. The deeper layers of water began to rise, reducing the pressure that had been holding the gas in place. Suddenly, the dissolved carbon dioxide burst upward, escaping from the lake in a massive, invisible cloud. Research conducted by George Kling from the University of Michigan estimated that around 1.6 million tons of gas were released. The cloud spread quickly, pouring over the edges of the crater and moving downhill at speeds of about 70 kilometers per hour. Because carbon dioxide is heavier than air, it stays close to the ground, flowing through valleys and settling into low areas like an unseen flood. As it moved, it displaced the oxygen in the air. Anyone breathing within that cloud inhaled air that contained no oxygen at all. People and animals lost consciousness within seconds. Within minutes, they were gone. Most victims were found in their homes, still lying in their beds. They had not been aware of what was happening. The few who survived were those living on higher ground or in elevated parts of buildings above where the gas had settled. When survivors came down the next morning, they were met with complete silence. Entire communities had been wiped out. Neighbors, friends, families, and animals lay motionless exactly where they had been when the gas reached them. The stillness was total and deeply unsettling. Today, Lake Nyos remains in place, and the volcanic source beneath it continues to release carbon dioxide. After the disaster, engineers introduced a solution to reduce the risk. Special pipes were installed to draw gas-rich water from the depths and release the carbon dioxide safely into the air in controlled amounts. This process has lowered the overall concentration of gas in the lake. However, the system has its limits. While it continues to remove gas, new carbon dioxide is still entering the lake from below. According to monitoring efforts connected to the degassing project, the amount of gas being removed is roughly equal to the amount being added. This balance helps prevent another sudden release, but it does not eliminate the danger entirely. The nearby settlement of Nyos was never fully repopulated. The surrounding land remains largely empty. Houses still stand, but they are abandoned. Roads have been overtaken by vegetation. The lake itself looks calm once again, just as it always did before the disaster. This quiet appearance makes the story even more chilling. A place that looks so peaceful caused the deaths of 1,746 people in a single night without making a sound. It stands as one of the most haunting examples of how dangerous nature can be when its forces are hidden. And yet, this is only the second most dangerous water on the list. The next location is even more unsettling, not because of the scale of destruction, but because of how ordinary it appears. It does not destroy ships or flood entire regions. Instead, it takes individuals, one by one. What makes it truly frightening is its appearance. It looks small, calm, and beautiful, like a place where someone might casually step or play without a second thought. That is what makes it so dangerous. We have reached the halfway point, and the waters ahead become even more terrifying. If you are still watching, make sure to subscribe to Forbidden Fathoms and turn on notifications so you never miss what comes next. Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us which of these places has disturbed you the most so far. Victoria Falls is widely known as one of the most powerful and awe-inspiring waterfalls on the planet. Straddling across more than 1,700 meters in width and dropping approximately 108 meters in height, it is a truly immense natural force. At times of peak water flow, over 500 million liters of water cascade over the edge every single minute. The sheer volume creates a towering mist that rises high into the air, sometimes reaching hundreds of meters above the falls. The thunderous sound of the water crashing below can be heard from as far as 40 kilometers away. Locally, this incredible spectacle is called Mosi Oa Tunya, meaning the smoke that thunders. Yet at the very edge of this immense waterfall, something unexpected exists. During the dry season, when water levels drop, a natural rock formation creates a small pool right at the brink. This place is known as Devil's Pool. It is a location where people can actually swim, despite being positioned directly beside a vertical drop of over 100 meters. The pool is held in place by a rock barrier that forms its outer edge. This natural ledge is roughly 2 meters wide and acts as the only separation between swimmers and the massive drop into the gorge below. Beyond this barrier flows the Zambezi River, which plunges over the falls with immense force. The rock lip itself is submerged beneath the water, making it invisible to those inside the pool. From within Devil's Pool, visitors can move right up to the edge and look straight down into the churning waters far below. The experience is both thrilling and deeply unsettling. Some people sit calmly in the water while others lie forward, extending their bodies toward the edge to peer down into the gorge. Tour operators based in Livingstone guide visitors to this location, usually between September and December, when the water level is low enough for the rock barrier to function effectively. During this period, conditions are considered safe enough for controlled visits. Guides lead small groups into the pool, where tourists take photographs and experience the sensation of being at the very edge of one of the world's most powerful waterfalls. However, the margin for safety is incredibly small. The only protection is that submerged rock ledge. It is not wide, and it cannot be seen clearly beneath the moving water. It is the only thing preventing a person from being carried over a drop of 108 meters onto rocks below. Records gathered by tourism authorities in Zambia and reports from local media indicate that fatalities at Devil's Pool are uncommon, but they have occurred. Most incidents have happened when individuals entered the pool outside the safe season, when higher water levels increased the force of the current and reduced the effectiveness of the rock barrier. There has even been at least one recorded case where a visitor was swept over the edge during what was meant to be a guided experience. Guides who regularly bring people to Devil's Pool often describe the activity as a carefully managed risk. The rock formation has existed for thousands of years, and seasonal water patterns are generally predictable. In many cases, conditions are monitored closely to ensure safety. Still, statistics provide little reassurance when someone is sitting in moving water, with nothing but an unseen natural barrier standing between them and a deadly fall. The experience feels like being in a swimming pool placed at the very edge of the world. This is a place where danger is not hidden but willingly approached. Visitors choose to step into that pool knowing exactly where they are. The next location, however, is different. Its danger is not subtle or concealed. It reveals itself through its appearance, a river whose striking color signals a level of danger capable of dissolving even metal, hidden within the rugged highlands of southwestern Spain. There flows a river unlike any other on Earth. Its appearance is immediately striking and deeply unsettling. The water is not cloudy or dark in the usual sense. Instead, it glows with a vivid red hue, resembling rusted iron or even fresh blood. This extraordinary river is known as Rio Tinto, a name that translates directly to painted river. Inspired by its intense and unnatural coloration, this river stretches for nearly 100 kilometers, beginning in the Sierra Morena and eventually reaching the Gulf of Cadiz. Along its journey, the water maintains an extreme level of acidity, with a pH close to 2. This level is similar to that of vinegar, making the water powerful enough to corrode or dissolve many types of metal upon contact. The unusual color and chemical nature of Rio Tinto come from the surrounding geology. The land is rich in iron and sulfide minerals, which slowly seep into the water through natural processes. However, nature is only part of the story. Human activity has played a major role as well. For more than 5,000 years, this region has been mined for valuable resources. Ancient civilizations such as the Phoenicians, the Romans, and later the Moors, along with modern mining operations, have all extracted metals like copper, gold, and silver from these lands. Over centuries, the waste and runoff from mining activities have poured into the river, increasing the concentration of dissolved metals to extreme levels. As a result, the water has become hostile to most forms of life. Fish cannot survive here. Amphibians are absent. Even typical algae cannot exist in such conditions. By ordinary standards, the river would be considered lifeless. Yet, in a surprising twist, it is not entirely devoid of life. During the 1990s, researchers from the Centro de Astrobiología in Madrid made a remarkable discovery. They found microscopic organisms living within the acidic waters. These extremophiles have adapted to survive in conditions that would destroy most living cells. Instead of relying on sunlight or oxygen in the usual way, they obtain energy by processing iron and sulfur through chemical reactions. This discovery challenged long-standing ideas about where life can exist. According to studies led by Ricardo Amils from the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid, the environment of Rio Tinto closely resembles conditions believed to exist on Mars. Because of this, NASA has studied the river extensively as a model for understanding how life might survive beyond Earth. If organisms can live in such highly acidic, metal-rich water, then similar forms of life could potentially exist beneath the surface of Mars, where scientists suspect acidic liquid environments may still be present. This makes Rio Tinto not just a geological curiosity, but a key location for astrobiological research. The river's deep red color is so intense that it can even be seen from space. As it flows into the Atlantic Ocean, it leaves a visible stain that stretches outward along the coastline for several kilometers. It is a striking reminder of both natural forces and thousands of years of human impact. Despite its harsh chemistry, the microscopic life within Rio Tinto may have existed long before mining began, quietly thriving in extreme conditions. This combination of danger and discovery makes the river one of the most unusual places on Earth. Yet even this acidic river does not pose the same kind of threat as the next location. The place that follows does not endanger a single region. Instead, it challenges every vessel that attempts to cross it. And for centuries, it has been responsible for countless ships disappearing beneath its waters. Far below the southern edge of South America, and just above the icy expanse of Antarctica, lies a vast and unforgiving stretch of ocean. This region, known as the Drake Passage, spans roughly 800 kilometers in width and is widely regarded as the most dangerous body of water on the planet. This is the place where three immense bodies of water meet and clash: the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and the Southern Ocean. Flowing through this open corridor is the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, the largest ocean current on Earth. It carries an astonishing volume of water, estimated at around 150 million cubic meters every second, moving freely without obstruction. There is nothing to slow this immense force. No islands interrupt its path, and no land masses stand in its way. Between the southern reaches of the Andes Mountains and the Antarctic Peninsula, there is only open ocean and powerful wind. This unique geography allows the water to build incredible momentum, creating waves that are both massive and unpredictable. Wave heights in this region commonly exceed 10 meters, and during storms, they can climb to 15 meters or more. In the most extreme conditions, waves have been recorded rising above 20 meters, towering like multi-story structures made entirely of water. These waves do not move gently. They surge with tremendous force, often coming from multiple directions at once. The winds that drive these conditions are equally intense. Known as the Roaring 40s and the Screaming 60s, these wind belts circle the globe at high southern latitudes. Because there are no large land barriers to interrupt them, the winds accelerate across the ocean with incredible speed. Sustained winds of 100 kilometers per hour are not unusual, and stronger gusts exceeding 150 kilometers per hour have been recorded. Since the early 16th century, when European explorers first attempted to navigate this passage, it has earned a deadly reputation. Countless ships have been lost here over the past 500 years. Maritime historians estimate that the number reaches into the hundreds, though exact figures are impossible to confirm. The lost vessels have included military ships, trading vessels, and even modern research ships equipped with advanced technology. According to the British Antarctic Survey, which regularly sends vessels through this region, the conditions can change rapidly. A crossing that begins in relatively calm weather can turn into a violent ordeal within just a few hours. Sailors who frequently travel this route have a term for the experience. They call it the Drake Shake. During these moments, ships are tossed so severely that they tilt dramatically from side to side. Objects that are not secured slide across surfaces or fall to the floor. Equipment can become airborne, and simply standing upright requires holding on to something firmly. Despite its dangers, the Drake Passage cannot be avoided. It serves as the only direct water route connecting South America to Antarctica. Every research station, supply vessel, and tourist expedition heading toward the Antarctic Peninsula must pass through it. There is no alternative path. This means that every journey across these waters involves a degree of uncertainty. Sailors often speak of two possible experiences. One is calm and almost peaceful, known as Drake Lake. The other is chaotic and violent, known as the Drake Shake. With 800 kilometers of open ocean, no shelter, and no safe refuge, this passage remains one of the most formidable challenges at sea. For centuries, it has tested every vessel that dares to cross it, continuing to claim ships and remind the world of the raw power of nature. At first glance, Jacob's Well in Wimberley appears almost too perfect to be real. A circular pool of striking blue water, about 4 meters wide, rests within a bed of pale limestone rock, surrounded by tall cypress trees that add to its peaceful charm. The water is incredibly clear, allowing anyone standing above to see straight down to the rocky base. Families gather nearby for picnics, while children play and swim in the shallow areas upstream. On a warm afternoon in Texas, it looks like the ideal place to cool off and relax. However, beneath this calm and inviting surface lies something far more dangerous. Jacob's Well is not just a natural spring. It is the entrance to one of the most hazardous underwater cave systems in the United States. What appears to be a simple pool is actually the opening of a vertical shaft that drops down about 10 meters before continuing into a complex network of submerged passages. This system extends deep into the Edwards Aquifer, with mapped depths reaching beyond 40 meters. Inside, the cave branches into multiple chambers and narrow tunnels that twist through the limestone in various directions. The first chamber feels surprisingly open and almost welcoming. Divers entering the water descend through clear visibility into a space large enough to move around comfortably. From there, several pathways lead deeper into the rock, inviting further exploration. It is at this point that the real danger begins. Records maintained by Hays County authorities and the management of the Jacob's Well Natural Area show that at least 12 people have lost their lives within this cave system since the 1960s. Each incident reveals just how unforgiving the environment can be. Some divers became trapped in passages so narrow that turning around was impossible, eventually running out of air before they could escape. Others encountered sudden clouds of disturbed silt, which reduced visibility to nothing within seconds, leaving them disoriented and unable to find their way back. One of the most dangerous sections is known as the false chimney. This area gives the illusion of an upward path leading back to the surface. Divers, believing they are heading towards safety, follow it, only to discover too late that it leads nowhere. The passage narrows and closes off, forming a dead end. By the time the mistake is realized, valuable air has already been used, leaving little chance of returning. In several cases, the bodies of those who perished were never recovered. The cave's narrow and hazardous passages make rescue efforts extremely difficult, even for experienced recovery teams. Those who attempted to retrieve the victims often could not reach them. The cave has held onto what it claimed, Today, strict rules are in place. Diving at Jacob's Well requires special permission, and access to the most dangerous sections has been blocked to prevent further tragedies. Despite this, the area above remains open to the public. Families still visit, enjoying the scenery, while children continue to swim in the nearby shallows. The water remains as clear and beautiful as ever, giving no sign of the risks hidden below. Yet beneath that calm surface lies a system that has taken lives and still contains those who could not be brought back. It is difficult to accept that something so visually stunning can be so dangerous. The contrast between beauty and risk makes Jacob's Well both fascinating and unsettling. The next place, however, does not hide its reputation. It is widely known, admired for its beauty, and feared for the number of divers who have lost their lives there. Along the shores of the Sinai Peninsula, about 9 kilometers north of the town of Dahab, lies one of the most infamous diving locations in the world, the Blue Hole Dahab. This underwater sinkhole drops to a depth of around 130 meters into the Red Sea. From above, it appears as a perfect dark blue circle surrounded by lighter turquoise water. Its beauty is striking and almost hypnotic, drawing visitors in with its calm and inviting appearance. What makes this place even more compelling is how easily accessible it is. Divers can reach it directly from the shore without the need for boats or complex equipment setups. This convenience has made it one of the most visited dive sites on Earth. Yet behind its beauty lies a deadly reputation. It is estimated that between 130 and 200 divers have lost their lives here. The exact number is uncertain, as not every incident has been officially recorded and some bodies have never been recovered. Divers from across the globe travel to experience this site, often seeking the thrill and challenge it offers. Sadly, not all of them return. The primary danger within the Blue Hole comes from a natural formation known as the Arch. This underwater passage is located at a depth of about 56 meters and connects the interior of the sinkhole to the open sea. The tunnel is large enough for divers to pass through and is clearly visible from above, making it a tempting objective for those exploring the site. However, this depth exceeds the safe limits for standard recreational diving, which is typically around 40 meters. Beyond this point, divers begin to experience a condition known as nitrogen narcosis. This effect impairs judgment, slows thinking, and creates a false sense of confidence. Some divers describe it as a feeling of calm or even mild euphoria, similar to being intoxicated. This is where the danger becomes critical. As divers descend toward the arch, they may lose awareness of their depth. The walls of the Blue Hole provide very little visual reference, and the uniform blue color of the water makes it difficult to judge distance. Without constant attention to their instruments, divers can unknowingly descend far deeper than intended. At greater depths, the effects of narcosis intensify. The ability to think clearly fades, and the instinct to ascend back to the surface weakens. According to research by Gareth Locke, many victims were discovered at depths well beyond the arch, some reaching more than 90 meters. These divers had continued downward instead of turning back, unaware of the danger they were in. Eventually, their air supply ran out, and they could not return. Their bodies sank deeper into the darkness. Along the inner walls of the Blue Hole, memorial plaques have been placed in remembrance of those who lost their lives. Divers descending into the water pass by these markers, silent reminders of the risks that lie ahead. For some, those markers become the last signs they see before disappearing into the depths. The Blue Hole presents a powerful contrast. It looks like a place of beauty and tranquility, almost like a paradise beneath the sea. It can even feel peaceful as divers descend, with the water surrounding them in a calm and endless blue. Yet that same sense of calm can be misleading. The deeper a person goes, the more everything seems fine, until awareness fades entirely. It is this illusion that makes the site so dangerous. Unlike other locations that threaten large areas or entire communities, the Blue Hole claims individuals one at a time. Each descent carries its own risk, and each diver faces the same hidden dangers. The next location on this list is different in scale. It does not target individuals, but has the potential to affect millions. It is not a deep hole in the sea, but a lake resting above a growing threat that has been building pressure for decades. Before we move to the final entry, take a moment to check the subscribe button. If it has not been activated yet, make sure to do so and share your thoughts in the comments about which place has seemed the most terrifying so far. Beneath the calm beauty of Horseshoe Lake, something far more dangerous has been unfolding for decades. Back in 1990, a series of small earthquakes rippled through the region surrounding Mammoth Mountain in eastern California. At the time, these tremors seemed insignificant. No buildings collapsed, and no lives were immediately affected. Everything appeared normal on the surface. But deep underground, a shift had taken place. Carbon dioxide gas began rising slowly through the volcanic soil. This gas is invisible, has no smell, and is heavier than air. It does not rise and disperse like most gases. Instead, it sinks and gathers close to the ground. Around Horseshoe Lake, which sits like a quiet crescent at the base of the mountain, this gas began collecting in low-lying areas. At first, the signs were subtle. Then they became impossible to ignore. Trees surrounding the lake started to die, not gradually, but rapidly. Large sections of forest turned gray within months. Entire stretches of once living woodland became silent and lifeless. Even today, the remains of these trees still stand. Over 100 acres of bare, pale trunks surround the lake, creating a landscape that feels eerie and unnatural. The water itself looks calm and inviting, but the environment tells a different story. In 2006, a tragic event revealed just how dangerous this place truly is. 3 members of a ski patrol team from Mammoth Mountain were performing a routine check near the lake. As they moved through the area, they unknowingly entered a low spot where carbon dioxide had pooled. Within moments, all 3 lost consciousness. Rescue efforts managed to save 2 of them, but 1 person did not survive. According to monitoring conducted by the United States Geological Survey, the soil in this region releases between 100 and 150 tons of carbon dioxide every single day. In certain depressions, the concentration of this gas near the ground can reach as high as 95%. For comparison, normal air contains only about 0.04% carbon dioxide. Anything above 10% can be fatal within minutes. The way this danger works is simple yet terrifying. Carbon dioxide replaces oxygen in the air because it is heavier. It flows downward and settles into dips in the landscape, forming invisible pockets where breathable air no longer exists. A person walking into one of these areas would have no warning. There is nothing to see or smell. Within just a couple of breaths, the lack of oxygen can cause the body to shut down before the brain even has time to react. Warning signs have been placed around the lake to alert visitors of the risk. However, the area remains open. People still walk along the trails, and fishermen continue to spend time by the water. The lake itself is not poisonous. The water is safe. It is the air that carries the danger. This makes Horseshoe Lake different from many other hazardous places. It does not require contact with the water to become deadly. Simply being in the wrong place at the wrong moment can be enough. This is what makes it one of the most unsettling locations on Earth. It does not rely on dramatic visuals or overwhelming force. Instead, it hides its danger behind a peaceful appearance. It looks like the kind of place where families would gather, where children would play, and where nothing could possibly go wrong. Across this journey, we have explored 10 dangerous waters, spread across 7 countries, and spanning 5 centuries of history. Each one carries its own unique threat. A clear pool in Texas that hides a deadly cave below, a lake in California that can kill without being touched. A river in Spain is so acidic that even space agencies study it as a model for other worlds. A deep ocean pit filled with discarded military equipment. A diving site that creates a false sense of safety before turning deadly. A lake holding massive amounts of gas beneath millions of people. A violent ocean passage that has destroyed ships for centuries. A natural pool perched at the edge of a massive waterfall. A silent lake that wiped out an entire village overnight. And a quiet stream in England that has never allowed anyone to survive after entering its waters. All of these places share one truth. Water is not always what it appears to be. Calm surfaces can hide deadly forces. Clear water does not always mean safety. Narrow streams may be far deeper than they seem. And the most beautiful locations can sometimes be the most dangerous of all. So which of these places left the strongest impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you made it this far, then Forbidden Fathoms is exactly where you belong. Scubber to the channel, turn on notifications, and get ready for more journeys into the unknown. The next story will take you somewhere even more mysterious.